Alright, this is my first video in a while, so. Alright, I'm going to do what if Germany won World War II? It's very generic, but. Well, school got cancelled for the second day for me, so. Yeah, I have nothing else to do. Alright, let's just start with the basics. My mouse is stuck. Alright. They just kind of. Oh, wait, I gotta change my. Alright. There we go. They just kind of walk into Austria, take the capital, and they just become Germany now. So this is Germany. This is all Germany. Just trying to get rid of the boring stuff first because this stuff is all going to happen, and this stuff they already did well. So now another thing that's less known about Germany is they also tried to take Memel, which they succeeded. It's just a short strip of land that Lithuania had. Alright, here we go. And now, this guy takes Sudetenland, like something like this. I'm just gonna ignore that. It's not like they already did that. I just the border is just so atrocious. Alright. For this simulation, I'm going to make it so they do not sign the Tripartite Pact. Is that what it's called? No, I might be mixing it up with the World War One thing between France, UK, and Russian Empire. But the pact I'm talking about is basically the Axis, the foundation. I think it's called Pact of Steel, or that might be Soviet. I can't remember the name, but it's the pact when Germany, Italy, and Japan all signed a treaty, basically forming the Axis. And alright, and then let's just make Hungary invade this part, Transcarpathia in Ukraine, and basically I'm gonna make it so it doesn't happen. Because we all know that they bombed Pearl Harbor, but for some reason I totally forgot about this. Germany actually declared war on the U.S. It wasn't the other way around, so it's kind of interesting how that played out. But so basically, they're not gonna be allying. Japan's gonna be doing their own thing in oh my gosh. Oh, they're gonna be doing their own thing in Asia, while Germany's gonna be doing their own thing. So they might still have some trading, so their economies are like good and stuff, but they're not gonna be allies. They're not gonna help each other. So yeah. Alright, this is the Axis right now. Okay. Oops. Okay, so these are all the current members of the European Axis thing. And now I'm going to go over here to Japan. I'm pretty sure they own like some. They also own like all of these basically. So, well, some of these, like the German stuff. I think German Samoa. So I think this is Japanese. They also own some other islands. So, forgot on this map. I forgot this because I made one of the territorial claims. Okay. So that's Japan. This is also Japanese. Also Japanese. Okay. This is Japan's territory versus China. So We all know China basically gets smoked early on, and basically entire coast is taken. They take the capital. I think it's like Wuhan. They also get tons of other coastal land, trying to cut them off. And then the war kind of stagnates because they just make tons of like little advancements throughout China. It's just like a little web. I'm just gonna draw these quickly. Shoot, paintbrush. Alright, I'm just gonna leave that there for now. So, meanwhile, over here, alright, we know that, can't remember if they invade Poland and then they start taking this, but I think it makes sense that they do Poland first and then take this because I don't remember there being any territorial claims up north. Okay, so they basically invade Poland. Boom. That's pretty quick. They connect their enclave. I can't remember the difference between enclave and exclave, so they just kind of steamroll Poland. Not much to say here. I'd say, I mean, Russia's pretty tame against Germany. It's only Germany's not tame against Russia, so I pretend like Russia joined the war. Actually, no, I'm just gonna do it. I don't want to be too lazy. There you go, that's Russia. Boom. I'm gonna try and make a rough look at these borders. Because I haven't really done a lot of mapping in like a while. Something like that. Oh yeah, they also take this, I think. That's pretty accurate, right? Alright, so that's Russian now. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So yeah, basically I'm just gonna talk about what happened, why I'm recording, and also why I've been recording in a while. So basically, I haven't felt like recording, so that's question one. And also, I have school off because there's just a lot of snow. There's like a foot of snow, like 2 feet of snow outside. Yeah, I don't think the school buses are gonna be just driving through that. So, and also it was just snowing a lot like yesterday. So, whatever. I mean, I already didn't have school Monday, so we already have a new week. Let's just grab these. This is not Soviet. A slight change I'm going to make though is that Germany seizes Lithuania before Soviets do anything. So instead of like this, it's this. Oh yeah, I also got to make this Soviet because it is. So now we have a much stronger Germany. I know it's only Lithuania, but you'll see. Right now, I'm pretty sure that Spanish Civil War ended in like 1936 or 1939. So like, they were just like exploding. Now they're like, I think, united under Francois or Republican. I can't remember. Pretty sure it's the Francois. Francois? Fascist, whatever. Nationalist. I don't know. Anyway, Russia's next big thing. Oh, this map is not accurate. Oh yeah, this is my dirty map. I didn't fix it yet. I'll fix up some of this stuff maybe later. Cause I was thinking about making an NC map too. Cause I make all these maps by myself. I just use one template, and I make the borders by myself. But some of these are already made, so I'm pretty sure this one I made using the base map. See all the inconsistencies here. So yeah, I made this map. I'm really proud of it. And obviously, because of some mistakes, like this was like cyan. This is incorrect. I think I did a pretty good job. I just used some random map on my tablet. So, alright. I think it is safe to say that World War II has started. So, after the Phony War, anyway, I have to like color every single one of these guys. That's gotta take a while. Here we go. Boom. Oh wait, this is Italian. I forgot to color that in. This is basically, I think Gambia is British. Okay, this stuff, I hate doing this. It just takes forever. I also just got color in these guys so I don't have to do it later. Just you right now. I hope the video isn't lagging because like it just starts lagging sometimes, like in Roblox. When I record, it just like starts breaking. Oh yeah, this is I did some old territory map stuff here because it's like an island somewhere there. Pretend like Bermuda is colored in, but you don't really have to. Oh, I just realized I have to color in the Dutch East Indies or West Indies. I don't know. I'm pretty sure East. Which is Indonesia, by the way. Dude, some kids like at my school found out about my YouTube channel, bro. It's kind of embarrassing. I try to just pretend it doesn't exist. Oh my god. New Catalonia. I'm pretty sure that's French. Okay. This is gonna bug me later. So I'm just gonna. Oh. And. Okay. So. Solomon Islands. I can't remember what this was. I'm pretty sure this is British. This is Australia, I think. Alright, I'm lazy. I'm just gonna. Alright. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't feel like doing this right now. I know the edges will look kind of ugly, but whatever. Not much happens here, anyways. At least I'm not planning anything to happen. I think that's like everything. That looks about right. It's like half the world, whatever. Okay. It seems like I'm really tired, and I am because I'm kind of sick, but whatever. Okay. Oh my god, this new mouse is so bad. Okay. Boom. It's basically a Schlieffen plan, only in World War II. I can't remember the name. It just kind of blitz through the lowland countries. Dunkirk. Paris is taken. The capital is it going to be Bordeaux, but everything's happening too quickly, and the French are too happy about the the victory in World War One that they didn't decide to advance, and it's just kind of a mess. Okay. Now that France is knocked out of the war, let's just come back to here. Alright. Japan's doing some actual work and getting a little bit farther. I'm not saying that they're not doing work, but they're getting a little bit farther than before, at least so far. And starting to push through some of China. And now the new plan is that now British Raj, because of now the British Raj is in the war because of Britain. Now they're sending supplies, so they gotta cut that off. So they invade through all of French Indochina, threaten Thailand to join them, which they comply because, I mean, come on, you don't want to get absolutely steamrolled by Japan. And I'm pretty sure they get up to Burma in the real war. They cut off the supply line, but some are still going through Tibet. That's okay. China is basically screwed now. They don't have a lot. I think this is communist China here. Alright. Push off from this little spot here. Encircling tons of people. Because the Chinese army was very, very, very incompetent. They had no idea what they're doing. Okay, so I don't know why I don't know why the Soviets are still colored, but whatever. These guys join. Turkey joins, which is kind of new. Alright, and they find some new enemies to invade. All these guys, cause yeah. This time Germany's actually prepared because they're not setting up for Operation Barbarossa, because that's what led to their loss. So, and this is a winning, what's the word? We're doing a winning, I can't remember the word. I said it so many times earlier. Scenario. That's the word. I don't think I said it that many times, but I said a word similar to that. This is a winning scenario for Germany. So, not the entirety of the Axis, because then that include Japan. But Japan isn't really in the Axis. They're just colored and not the same color because they're aggressors. And just Germany. Italy will just get whatever they get. So, I'm pretty sure these guys survived like 40 days or something like that. Yugoslavia. Their government's basically bound to fall because, well, there's just so much weight and power coming on them that they just aren't able to hold out. But Greece are, because it's Greece. And the Germans don't really send that many forces, only to Yugoslavia. And since Italy, it's kind of stupid. They get pushed back and made fun of basically by what's it called? By Greece. I forgot. These guys should be. These guys should be. Am I stupid? These guys should be Italian. Oh my god. Okay. Boom. Italy's kind of getting made fun of here, so we kind of gotta lock in. What's that noise? Oh, okay, never mind, guys. It's the garbage truck. Whew. Okay. Forces from Germany come down. Oh, where's the tolerance like that? Okay, there we go. And oh my gosh, is that enough? Nope. Nope. Okay, there we go. And they beat up Greece. And Greece surrenders. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, Cyprus is swiftly taken by the Turks, fueled by determination to restore the empire. French Syria is quickly invaded. Lebanon, pretty sure it's called Palestine at the time. Don't. Okay. Pretty sure it's called British Mandate of Palestine or something. I don't know what I just said, but they get stopped at the Suez. Jordan is taken, and this is going pretty well for the Axis. And the Turks decided to make a surprise invasion to Iraq. You know, because they need to get to Kuwait, because that will give them access to the Persian Gulf, which will absolutely clutch up their economy from after the First World War, especially after the Great Depression. The official government is not able to even declare war properly because the capital's like here. They already took it. The guy's probably dead already. I'm not sure, or being held captive. Just pretend like Iraq doesn't exist anymore. Pretend like it's a Turkish now. I mean, it basically is. Kuwait is taken, and Turkey has done all they want to do so far. But their true goal is to make it. Oh my gosh, I forgot to color in these guys. Alright. Spain does not decide to declare war at all yet, because think about it, they just got a civil war, they're probably not doing great. And they decide to do, I don't know what the operation is called, but some Australian forces hold out at Tobruk. I took that from some other YouTuber, I can't remember the name. But they have like a country ball 3D thing as a profile picture, but they had like some people hold out in Tobruk, Australian people, and now they're doing the Battle of Alexandria. Meanwhile, the rest of Libya is getting smoked by the Allies. I mean, let's be honest, this is just all desert, it doesn't really matter. But to the public, it matters. Okay, anyway. The Axis, mainly Italy, just Italy, decided to make an invasion of Tunisia, which goes really well, actually. They managed to take basically most of the country. And the Battle of Algiers begins. The invasion of Saudi Arabia begins, and Turkey, you could just call it Turkey or Turkey. Pretty sure it's called Turkey at the time. Yeah, it is called Turkey at the time. They begin to invade Saudi Arabia. Not putting enough forces into Egypt. But, luckily, they managed to take control of the west part of the city. Although the east falls, and the Turks are basically made fun of. So meanwhile, they send some scout forces into deeper into the Suez, and they invade most of it. The Suez is now encircled, and basically everybody is begging Turkey to move out of the Suez because they're losing a lot of money here because Suez is a major trading port. The Suez eventually falls, and the forces in Tobruk are forced to lay siege as they are completely encircled. Oops. Okay, completely encircled. Now that Italy has more forces, they decide to punch back in Libya, and they take control of a lot more land than they expected to, while also increasing their hold in Tunisia, completely taking the country. The Battle of Algiers is won by the Axis, and they continue moving along the coast. Meanwhile, I think this is just called Equatorial Italian Africa or something, but whatever. They get kind of steamrolled in Somalia, but they do manage to seize Somaliland and Djibouti. They get absolutely obliterated literally everywhere else, and they're basically forced to stay on defense, while the Turks continue their invasion into Saudi Arabia, getting that sweet oil and giving it all of it, basically all of it, to Germany and their tanks and the Luftwaffe, but also the tanks. We invade some colonies. I might be overestimating, but this is a victory scenario. Take Oman, Yemen, relatively quickly and with ease. As they're busy worrying about the British Raj, they're basically their crown jewel, if you will, and they're kind of important. Not saying that Canada isn't important too, or the others, but the British Raj is pretty important. The Chinese government basically collapses, and Japan has basically won the Eastern Front. What brush did I use? Did I use 10? I think I used 10 for this. Yeah, I did use 10. East Turkmenistan, East Turkestan gets independence, while these all become random puppet states of Japan. Indochina, well, that's now Japanese, and also to reward Thailand for their loyalty to the Axis, well, not Axis, to them, they get a small sliver of Laos, which isn't a lot, but something. Logan, I'm recording. I'm recording. Yeah, I am.
You want to play Forgotten Memories soon?
Yeah, let me finish up. Just give me like an extra 10 minutes. Close the door. Logan, close the door. Logan! Logan! Okay. The British Raj begins to have a rebellion over the loyalty of the crown and just having independence. I'm not gonna bore you with all the. I am gonna bore you with all the details. So there's some uprising in New Delhi, Islamabad, Bangladesh, and East India. They basically let Japan have everything east of that in their little peace treaty, including all the occupied lands in Burma. So this is Japan now. So boom. Okay, a little puppet, and the I'm thinking. The British don't have a lot of power left, so they can't really do much in here. They quickly get overthrown, and not even a couple months in, maybe a couple years, actually. Maybe like a year or two pass, and India is basically completely in rebel. The rebels have basically done everything they can to get rid of the old Indian British monarch government. The last loyalists in southern Pakistan. Slowly, the rebels begin to close in on them, and they basically all get wiped out, or they all just leave and escape. So, boom, India's free now. They begin to drop some borders. Of course, they're gonna look atrocious because I don't know how to draw borders. So this is gonna be Pakistan. I know it's like this, but like it looks better when it's like this. Um, Bangladesh. Let's do something like this. Nah, it looks ugly. Let's just do East India for Bangladesh. And let's just make Southern India. Boom. And that's Sri Lanka. Pretend like it's independent. So boom, these are my new Indian borders. And back to Germany. They begin creating plans for Operation Tannenbaum and Sea Lion. If you don't know, Tannenbaum is Operation for Switzerland, and Sea Lion is for Great Britain. The Irish refuse to declare war, knowing that the British are just gonna beat them up first. But they do manage to make a couple landings, and once they secure it, they're basically screwed. They make a couple landings here, one Glasgow, or near Glasgow, and they already know it's kind of over. The German Luftwaffe reigns terror everywhere, while the royal family flees over to Canada. Canada being pretty loyal, they just kind of keep them safe, while Britain, Britain has guerrilla forces trying to hold off the forces, even managing to seize the forces in the near Glasgow area. Ireland just kind of snatches up Northern Ireland, uniting their island. That's a real tongue twister. Okay. Right, now we just... Okay. That's Ireland now. And Scotland. They make a border for this, like, German-England thing. Well, these guys are just proclaimed still Britain, even though they're basically just Scotland. They continue fighting, and eventually they capitulate. And now it's just all the territorial claims. A lot of territorial claims. Alright, this is like, it's like 1944, about now. The forces in Tobruk finally fall after a long siege of like 2 years. Mainly because of the Turk incompetence and focusing more on their own ambitions in Arabia. Now with the decreased morale, Italy's able to push back most of their forces, most of the Allied forces in Libya, and they also, with the help of the Turks, they pushed back the forces in northern Ethiopia and Eritrea, even invading Port Sudan, which is the real city, by the way. I know it just sounds weird, but yeah, they do invade Port Sudan. And basically, Egypt is all gone. They begin their invasion of the entire northern coast of Africa, successfully cutting off all sources of Allied support in the north. Now they have to get all this stuff from here, which isn't that big of an issue, but now they also can't go through here, so now they can focus more of their naval blockade here instead of everywhere. Okay, that was my little presentation. With no Pearl Harbor, nothing really happens. I mean, the US isn't doing the war, so now Britain is gone, so the war effort's basically over. But now, Denmark, I totally forgot about this. Now it gets taken in 2 hours instead of 6 hours. Norway is taken. Sweden joins the Axis. Oh no, Finland joins the Axis. Iran joins the Axis. Mexico, Brazil. Even with the help of a coup, East the East, what's it called? East India joins the Axis. Even Mongolia, and they're kind of screwed. The Soviet Union and the U.S. are now on the chopping block. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about this. The year is now 1945. The Germans had a lot more time to militarize, and basically the future seems pretty dire for the rest of the world. Only now the Japan, Italy, everybody else in the Axis decides to team up because they both hate the Allies. They both want land from the Soviets. Mainly just the Japan and Germany part, but because they're kind of leaders. Italy is also a leader, but I don't really care about them. They don't really do a lot. Okay, and this is what's different. Usually they had this land, I think. Boom. Now they don't. Solomons are taken. New Catalonia is taken. All these islands are taken. Pearl Harbor never happens, but they do invade Hawaii, so pretend like some bombings and small invasions begin from Japan and the Aleutian Islands. These are actually supposed to be islands, in my opinion. Wait, not opinion. I didn't mean to say opinion, but I think these are islands, is what I meant to say. Germany, the U.S. I know this is a controversial issue, but I'm pretty sure they do take Greenland from Denmark to protect it, and they do seize Iceland. Ireland joins the Axis because they just got land out of it, so they might as well. Spain joins the Axis, not gonna contribute much. Also, they also take Gibraltar, so Spain's not gonna do much because they just got out of Civil War like 10 years ago. So we're still rebuilding, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Italy did something kind of sad. They invade San Marino, but they keep the Pope. I forgot to drop these borders, but whatever. Most of these are German now. I'm just gonna make all these German besides Netherlands. This is the Netherlands border. Wait, let's just do this. The rest of this is German. This is gonna be like Reichskommand. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Niederlande, I think. It just means Netherlands in German, by the way. It's just a little buffer state for them. And then there's gonna be like German occupied France. So this is also German. Oop, okay, that's German. They said drop borders here. Yugoslavia, so this is gonna be, oops, it's gonna be Croatia. Bulgaria is gonna get their share. They want their revenge from World War One. Italy wants what they. Italy wants more coast. So this is Italy now. This is also Italy now. Okay, well, but Germany says no because they want the coast. So they see some of this land, cutting off Italy. It seems very, very extremely bad for whoever's still left on the Allied side. There's not a lot, but it's it's just a lot of red. There's like no blue. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Oh wait, hon. Okay. Operation Bar. Oh no, wait. Okay. Let's just zoom in on here. The U.S. occupies Bahamas because it's just close to it. It just makes sense. Mexico kind of gets steamrolled here. There's not much I could do. Just kind of a distraction the whole time. They continue invading into Alaska. Wait on, is my camera on? Okay. They continue invading to Alaska, and Operation Barbarossa begins. Quickly, in about 1947, they invade into the Soviets. Quickly invading. I keep mixing up the main names because this is Balkans. This is Baltics. Alright. They continue invading, quickly making puppet states to secure the land. Finland does their share, invading some pretty important nuclear stuff for the Soviets, and some borders are drawn up for the Reichskommand. Alright, this is Reichskommand Ukraine, Belarusian, Ostland, Caucasian, Moscowan, however you say it. And this is the rest of just Siberia. I'm just gonna leave these here because we already know that they're gonna win. So it's kind of annoying having to go back because they used to have little letters next to these so you could see and get used to like each a short key R. Wait, hon. F B. Okay. R F B. Okay. Oh, that makes it so much easier. Okay. Continue invading. St. Petersburg is quickly swept, which is called Leningrad at the time. They begin to siege Stalingrad, Moscow. Finland does an extremely good job here in Karelia. And since Iran and Turkey are here, they help invade and almost take Stalingrad with them. Iran even has their own conquest in Turkmenistan. Well, almost, well, struggling. Because, I mean, I don't know, I don't even know how strong Iran is, but I do know historically they got invaded by the Soviets, so. Right, they continue their conquest in, Africa, even though the war is basically over. Nigeria, they declare independence. I don't know if South Africa would stay loyal, but they are given a lot of autonomy after seeing what happened to Nigeria. Even offering up to give Namibia to South Africa. South Africa is just barely holding on to the loyalist grip. And yeah, that's why I'm using those hotkeys. Those are nice. And they just continue steamrolling back into Africa. And now with Nigeria gone, they could just cut them off. And the war is basically over. Meanwhile, over here, I forgot to color this in. Japan begins their conquest in Siberia, getting all those natural resources. After making fun of Russia once, they make fun of them again. The once being the time where Tsar Alexander, I think? No, it's the last Tsar tried to invade Japan, and they lost. So, boom. Japan's gonna take all these natural resources, put them all back into more stuff like fuel and other things. Tanutuva, the thing that just kind of disappeared, that just becomes Mongolia. It kind of looks weird, but whatever. I guess, like, the Cosphere, whatever it's called, like the East Asian Prosperity or whatever it is. Like, I'm just gonna call them Japan's people. The Japanese group of I don't know what to call this. They just continue invading. Iran's actually doing a really good job here, and they decide to connect forces here to cut them off in the Caspian. And Stalingrad falls, Moscow falls, and they all decide to fall back to the Ural Mountains, which is like here. And the Soviets are losing really bad here. They basically completely collapse. The year right now is like 1948, I'd say. No, wait. They started in 1947 invading, I think, in this. So I could say that they're like it's like 1948 now. And they just decided to settle in for the winter. And they decided to draw up, I guess you could just call this Turkestan. And the Soviets completely collapse. It's over. In summer of 1948, they finally fall. Japan decides to claim all of this. Well, Germany gets to conquer basically all of this, but they do leave a little Earl buffer as a little tiny like puppet state. So this is basically Russia now, because this is Japan, this is Turkestan, which is German, this is Ural, which is German, this is Moscowan, which is German, Caucasian, Ukraine, Belarus, Ostland, which is going to be integrated into Germany pretty soon. Greece. I haven't decided Greece yet. I'm just gonna cut up Greece now. I don't know what to make this. So this is just Turkish, I guess. I will let Bulgaria get this though, because yeah, it just seems right. So yeah, basically the war is as good as gone. Well, it's basically over. If you guys want, if I get enough views on this, I'm just gonna do a part 2. Hopefully this doesn't get deleted. Alright, bye.